Welcome back. We apologize for a break in the transmission due to a power outage. While the two parties have lambasted the government for hiking fuel prices, Prime Minister John Briceño said on Friday that his government is committed to lowering the price of gasoline. But he says it is the government's largest source of tax revenue and GOB still relies on it heavily.
We have said, and we stand by, that we want to keep the price of fuel at diesel. We said most of diesel at no more than $9 because that is what the productive sector use. And we want to do that. And we expect to do that in time to come. But remember that when we took over the government was bankrupt. We had no money. Fuel brings in approximately $150 million of revenues to the government a year. That's the largest revenue earner of the government. For every 10 cents that we take off out of the tax, we lose $3 million. So if we remove $1, that means $30 million in taxes are going to be lost. And if we lose that $30 million in taxes, we need to get it somewhere else. Where are we going to raise taxes? We have not raised taxes. We have not raised the tax on fuel since we came into government. We have not. Right now, because of the severe storms and winter that the United States is having, the price of fuel goes up. The demand goes up, so the price goes up, and then we poor Belize are suffering the consequences. Now, what is it that we're doing? Well, at the moment, I have asked the Ministry of Finance to prepare a report. I will take it to the cabinet for us to discuss, because I do believe and I feel with Belizeans that on the price of fuel that it is too high. I am in that business. My brother and I, we own two service stations, so we hear it from people every day. So of course we want to reduce the price, but when we do that, we have to do it responsibly. Now you're saying about how the economy has rebounded. Yes, the economy has rebounded, but remember from what deep a hole we were. And in 2019, the government was already in a bad shape, and by 2020, it was next to bankrupt. So by the time we get to 2019 levels, it does not mean that we're out of the woods, and that's what I'm explaining to my colleagues every day. We're not there yet. We need to ensure that we will have more growth, more sustainable growth, and that could be in strong financial footing to be able to provide the services that our Belizean people need and deserve. And addressing the price of fuel is certainly one of them. We have to find a way how we can do that.
The two parties say they envision a monetary sovereign Belize, starting with an investment in a national fuel ethanol plant in northern Belize. The president of the Caribbean Development Bank, Dr. Jean Leon, is heading a delegation to Belize this week. According to the CDB, Dr. Leon will meet with Prime Minister John Briceño and the cabinet, the governor of the Belize Central Bank, the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center. The delegation will review ongoing and completed projects in infrastructure, health, climate change, education, and trade. They will also launch a $1.5 million trade program funded by the CDB and the European Union. Accompanying the president are Vice President of Operations Isaac Solomon, Director of Projects Daniel Best, Senior Advisor Shelton Nichols, and the Coordinator for Regional Cooperation and Integration, Andrea Power. Just ahead, Paul Lopez heads to Chetumal. Find out what you need to know before you and your family go too when we come back.
February is all about Honda. Get up to 22% off selected Honda products in February, such as motorcycles, outboards, lawnmowers, trimmers, water pumps, and generators. Show your vehicle some love with Castrol. Spend $100 or more on Castrol oils and get a coupon for a free oil change. We are also offering service packages. All you have to do is purchase a Honda product or equipment and get the first 3 services free. Remember, it's Love Your Honda in February. So visit Benquip, 3 miles on the Philip Golson Highway to enjoy these great deals. Benquip, equipment, parts, service.
Hospital Hospital Galenia es el único hospital de Quintana Roo en contar con la más completa unidad de medicina nuclear, poniendo a su alcance la mejor tecnología especializada de diagnóstico y tratamiento de enfermedades, en las que se utilizan cantidades muy pequeñas de radiofármacos para diagnosticar anomalías dentro del cuerpo. Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
The ministry is collaborating with SpeedNet Communications to have a vaccination campaign for children ages 12 to 17 years. Children who get vaccinated will get a chance to win fabulous prizes, including backpacks with supplies, Nintendo Switch, tablets, book tuitions, and MiFi with 3 months data. Only children 12 to 17 years old can participate in this smart and Ministry of Health and Wellness raffle. At vaccination sites, each vaccinated child, upon being vaccinated, will receive a ticket to place their name, age, date of birth, BHIS number, and contact information on, which will be filled out by a parent or legal guardian. The sooner a person vaccinates, the more chances he or she will have to win. Get vaccinated, Belize! Vaccination saves lives.
How does the AstraZeneca vaccine work? The vaccine provides support to help your body develop immunity to the virus that causes COVID-19. The body is left with a supply of memory cells that will remember how to fight the virus. It takes a few weeks for the body to produce the antibodies after vaccination. How long does it take to build immunity after taking the first dose of the vaccine? There is protection 14 days after a person's first dose. However, that initial protection may decline over time, which is the reason why it is so important to get the second shot. How long after the first dose should one take the second dose? The second dose should be given between week 8 and week 12. Are there any deaths associated with the AstraZeneca vaccine? There have been no deaths associated with the AstraZeneca vaccine. Vaccines save lives. They remain the safest, most effective, and cost-effective medical tool developed. Increased uptake of the vaccine is the best way to stop this pandemic, save lives, and return to normalcy.
Welcome to Iris Belize online portal. This guide will provide a step-by-step on how to file a business tax with contract tax withheld. On the home page, go to Returns, select File a Return, then select Business Tax as the revenue type. Select a year and choose the desired period within that basis year and click Start Return. Review return information, then click Save and Continue. Click Enter Revenue from Trade, Business or Profession to enter return information. Enter the applicable line items for revenue from trade, business or profession, section 1 of 2. Click Save and Continue. Enter the tax credit from contract payments withheld at monthly adjustment, section 2 of 2. Click Save and Continue. Here you can upload additional documents if necessary. Click Save and Continue. Now you can review or edit your return before submission. When finished, check the Read and Agree box for the terms and conditions and privacy policy. Now you can click Submit Return. You can now pay at any online banking service of your choice. Enjoy using your integrated revenue information system. Effortless, easy, and efficient electronic tax services for everyone. Iris Belize.
Land borders and seaports were finally reopened, and it would appear, based on the current COVID numbers, that the timing was right on the mark. The infographics that the Ministry of Health and Wellness released today shows that the rate of recovery for COVID patients is now consistently outnumbering the newly infected ones. In addition, the number of persons getting infected, at least over the past 3 days, have cumulatively fallen well below the 1,000 mark. The number of confirmed cases between last Friday and today stands at 635, while the number of new recoveries stands at 1,649, almost 3 times the number of new infections. And the projected prevalence of COVID by the end of this month would have dipped to where the numbers stood before the Omicron variant surfaced in Belize about a month ago. Missing their loved ones on the other side, it has been a long 22 months for Belizeans with family in Mexico or Guatemala. While tourists have been able to enter by land for some months now, it was only today that Belizeans could also go for purposes other than medical attention or some other special permission. This morning, News 5's Paul Lopez crossed the northern border at Santa Elena and made his way to a downtown Chetumal hotel that was waiting with open arms to welcome their missing guests from Belize. Paul has some tips to make your travel as smooth as possible too.
The Belize northern border has been closed to Belizeans wanting to go across since April of 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But that all changed today. By order of the government of Belize, land borders are now reopened. We spoke to a few Belizeans that we met at the border.
Well, I'm really happy because it's we have relatives across the border, and we had that. We always used to cross, and now it was very hard for us not to be able to. So we are excited about this.
Where are things more expensive, in Belize or in Mexico?
Well, it's a while I haven't been there, I can't tell you really, but I guess everywhere is about the same.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's good, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's but happy, no?
Yeah.
Happy, but it's time, no?
It's time. What are you going over Chetumal to do today?
I'm going to see families.
Family?
Yeah.
It's been a long time that you've seen your family?
Yeah.
I don't feel no way about it, Otherwise, I should say that we the people have to take care of ourselves, and if we don't have to go across at Chetumal, we don't go across because we have everything what we need in Belize.
With our money exchanger, peseros, with our cooperative,
A cooperative.
Or cooperative.
Now, the borders have been closed for 2 years, right? So you haven't been out here for the past 2 years?
No.
Is this your first day back out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell us how you're feeling about the fact that you get to come out here again.
Well, I feel happy, glad, because now I could do earning only money for my family. Because I'm used only to work in my farm. Because the COVID, we have to get some precautions of what is happening because I kind of old, you know.
Once we got to the immigration booth, we were required to show our passports and proof of vaccination.
This is routine work for border management from the opening last May for tourism. We have been preparing. Now the big day has come. We have basically hired new staff. We have do a lot of training with them. We have worked along with the different agency workers, immigration and customs. So we are all prepared out here.
What's the same? What's different?
Well, basically it's the same. The only thing that has changed now is the new stipulation in the new SI, where there is a requirement that you have to be fully vaccinated to cross the border.
Before crossing the Chaktemal Bridge, we briefly visited the Ministry of Health station at the northern border, where we spoke with Dr. Angela Gilhari.
Upon departure, there is a departure form that has been developed. Very simple form. Basic information, name, date of birth, passport number or border pass ID number, signature, and there's a small section that's for official use, and that's where the immigration officer is going to date stamp and sign that form upon exit. All right. Now that form at the bottom, you're going to see a note, a highlighted note that says failure to produce this form upon return to Belize will require COVID-19 swabbing at the holder's expense.
Every Belizean who spends an overnight in Mexico will be required to take a rapid test upon return at your own expense.
So we have 3 lanes. The first lane is dedicated for free zone and cargo traffic, and then the second lane will be for those that are doing the same day traveling. All right. So at this point, you're going to see one of our officers there, and they will be reviewing the departure cards that you are to present upon return. Once they confirm that is with the same date, they will allow you to freely proceed. If you did more than one night, or if you did an overnight, then you will take the third lane. All right? The third lane, you are required to park, and then the first building is the check-in health station.
So we are in Chaktemal, and we are about to enter Los Cocos Hotel. This place has been getting a lot of traction lately, particularly by Belizeans on social media for their special Belizean rates and inviting decorations.
Nosotros consideramos a nuestros hermanos beliceños amigos.
We consider Belizeans our neighborly friends because they have always enjoyed coming to this hotel because of our proximity to each other. That helps us a lot, and that is why we like to cater to our Belizean friends who choose to stay with us. We have always tried to participate in all the Belizean festivities. It has been 2 years since we have been able to celebrate the 21st of September with Belizeans. We consider them to be very important for us because of their friendship.
What are the promotions for Belizeans right now?
Bueno, en este momento,
at this time, for standard room rates for general public is 1,300 pesos. But for Belizeans, the special rate is 850 pesos. At the current exchange rate, that is $106 Belize.
If you're willing to pay for greater luxury, you can choose from the premier rooms and villas, also at a discounted rate. But of course, there will be no need for lodging if you only plan to travel for a day, to dine at Church's Chicken, Burger King, or to spend a pretty penny inside Liverpool. I am Paul Lopez, reporting from Chaktemal for News 5.
We also asked Dr. Gilharry about the process someone will have to undergo if they test positive at the border upon return. She explained the process for Belizeans and tourists.
If it is positive and you are a Belizean, you will still be allowed to enter, but the result will be highlighted on that departure form so that the immigration take extra precautions. We should all be taking precautions, but they are a bit more cautious when we are dealing with positive cases, right? And then we take down their information from here as well to do the follow-up. Depending on the region that they're heading to, then we channel that information to the public health inspectors from those specific regions. If it is a tourist, up until the 15th of February, we do not allow entry of tourists that are positive, all right? As of the 15th, after they start engaging in the insurance policy for the tourists, that insurance policy is supposed to cover them for gold standard hotel accommodations, which will allow them to quarantine within our country. And that will also cover the gold standard transportation. So after the 15th, we will be allowing tourists to come in if they are positive, provided that everything is set in place as has been planned.
As the vaccination and testing requirements for traveling through the land borders are being shared with the public, one question that has come up in online forums is, what happens if you want to take your children with you? On this morning's Open Your Eyes, the host asked Dr. Julio Sabito, the CEO of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, about the requirements for children.
The protocol is that those 12 and above wanting to exit will be required to present their vaccination card, and they must be fully vaccinated. Obviously, those under 12 we will not be requiring any proof of vaccination. There are no vaccines for that age group currently in country, so we cannot demand that from that age group.
And will children be subjected to testing upon their return?
They will be subjected to testing. I think the protocol says 2 and above. It's the same thing that international standards are requiring.
So, families will have to show vaccination cards for all children over 12 and budget for COVID tests for all children over 2 years old. The current price for COVID tests at the border is the same as the international airport, $100 Belize per person. Another issue the public has been wondering about is what happens to those who test positive during the border screening. Oye host Isani Cayetano gave Dr. Sabito the scenario of a traveler from Belize City who was wondering what they need to do after they get that result many miles away from their home. He also asked about those traveling by bus.
Let me ask you this, Dr. Sabito. I go over into Guatemala or Mexico, spend a night or two, and upon my return to our border, I get tested and I return positive for COVID-19. I live in Belize City. What happens at that point? Do I go into quarantine elsewhere? What takes place at that point?
No, you will be required to quarantine at home. I mean, we don't have any quarantine facilities for Belizeans at the moment. You will be required to go home, quarantine there, and quarantine isolate at home.
Okay, if I could add to that, what about the issue of persons traveling on public transportation? So you're tested positive or whatsoever, you're telling me that I can get home and quarantine at home, but I'm traveling by bus. What takes place there?
I think the Ministry of Health will have to have something in place. Dr. Diaz alluded to something to this in one of your interviews last week, that they will have to either take a gold standard cab or something to get home. Okay. Especially those traveling on public transportation, because, I mean, it poses a risk for the rest in the public transportation.
BTB's Nicole Solano says it is the responsibility of the traveler to realize that in crossing the border, you may incur additional expenses than you expect if you test positive on your return. And if you have flu-like symptoms, it may not be in your best interest to take that trip. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.